Okay. I'm recording. So this will be recorded, and then we will send it out to you at the end of before the end of the week, I think, so that you can go back and review it. Just a little bit of housekeeping rules. Well, first of all, let me start off with an introduction. My name is Rocco Lamana. I'm the Associate Dean. I am joined here with Mike Wu, who is also works for Golden Gate University, and he's going to be giving us some insights later on in the presentation around admissions and the requirements and things that are also important for you to know about if you're deciding to move forward. So housekeeping rules. If you could just stay muted until the end, that would be perfect, because likely I'll answer your question, but we'll give time at the end to address any questions that either were unclear or didn't get answered at all. And I do want to be respectful that if you are not muted, background sounds come in and it could interfere with the presentation. So I want to give everybody the opportunity to do that. So if you could just check to make sure you're muted now, that would be perfect. I think okay, so I have muted everybody, and you should be able to still hear me though. And so welcome. Like I said earlier, we have people from the Bay Area, but we also have somebody joining us from India, and I think that's wonderful. So we're going to talk about the graduate programs. And one of the things I want to start off with, because I think it's very unique to our programs, and if you've been looking at other universities and kind of looking at their graduate accounting programs, you will see hopefully a distinctive difference in that there are many entry points. So this is what makes this degree flexible and user-friendly, as I like to say, because we know that life is going on, things are happening. We just talked about briefly a few minutes ago, that the pandemic is really impacting all of us. So how you move through a program is very different now than it used to be even just, last year, right? And what your needs are have changed considerably. So we want to be able to give you many different options so that the degree is somewhat flexible in how you start the degree or where you enter at what point. So we're going to talk about all of that. I'm doing this on my laptop, so it's a little bit slower for me to move things around. There are some differences about Golden Gate University. One, and I want to point out, is everybody that's on the call today. You are adult learners, and that's very different from what more traditional university students have, right? When you went to your undergraduate program, at least in the United States, you were probably amongst a million other, maybe not that many, a lot of other like-minded students, right? Trying to figure out what you were doing in the world, trying to figure out what you're going to be as you grow up, as I would like to say. And those things have changed over time, right? Because now you've kind of been in different parts of life. You might have family. You might have a whole host of different life events that have been you've been working through. And so that has changed how you see the world and your educational needs. So as an adult learner, you're a very unique group of students. I'm an adult learner. I recently, a year ago, finished my doctorate. And I can tell you that similar in graduate programs, you have different needs. The classroom experiences, so we tailor a lot around the adult learner. The classroom experiences are a little bit more intimate, small and personal. The material has to be applicable to what you're doing. It's not based a lot about theories. It's based about how do you apply these concepts in the real world. And as you go through the program, you're going to see that we are always constantly evolving and addressing what is happening in the real world. I think it's kind of a quirky thing to say real world, but that's true. So the professors, the relationships we have, the accounting firms, all of that information feeds into how we shape our curriculum. We are central. If we were on campus, I could say, well, EY is over here, PwC is down the street, and KBM, all these major firms are kind of just wrapping us on the campus, but we're doing everything remote, but it's still physically there, the campus there. Our faculty are industry professionals. They're experts in their subject matter area. They have been doing what you are probably going to be doing sometime in your future for many, many years. And they bring that in. So if I go back up to bullet point number 2, but when I talk about the real world, they're bringing in case studies and they're bringing in practical applications of the subjects that you're going to be talking about, and how do you apply those and how do you put those to use? Because you can talk about the theoretical perspectives of everything all day long, but if you don't understand how it really works, it doesn't make sense. Courses, we've got a lot of different course options for you to choose from, as you're going to see. So you can kind of pick and choose, or you can choose a concentration that is more specialized in a specific area. And again, we're going to go through that. And then there's these rankings. So Golden Gate University hasn't just been, around for 10 years. It's been around for almost, I think it's 120 years now. So we've been doing education for a very long time with the simple mission and goal of educating adult learners. So with that, we've kind of, gained some traction. We've gained some recognition. Tax Talent, at their last survey, which was in 2018, ranked us one of the top 5 accounting programs in the country, which is important because you have to look at who did the survey and what was the goal of the survey. Well, the goal of the survey was to identify where were some of the top talent coming from, which schools, and then who completed the survey. I think there was around 600 professionals in tax and accounting who completed the survey. So we were at top 5, and that's really kind of a nice thing to have. So that's, I like to tote, like, woo, yeah, you Golden Gate University. But the other thing, and I started this conversation around, was adult learners. So there's a lot of resources around how do adult learners learn? What do they look for? What do they need? How do you shape a program around their demographics and what they're looking for? And adult learners will look at, and maybe you have done this, different resources on figuring out which programs really kind of are within your scope of your plans. Washington Monthly ranked us number 1 for the 4th consecutive year. And Washington Monthly is a reputable group of resources that universities use in order to shape their programs, and information that they gather is useful for us in identifying how do we better serve our adult learners. Okay, so I said the degree was flexible, and in a lot of ways, you'll see as we go through how you can start your degree in various points. But the benefits of the degree beyond the flexibility are that a lot of our recruiters, if you're looking to launch a career in the accounting field, public accounting is a huge recruiter and employer for our graduates. But I always tell prospective students, open the door to other options. If you're doing a career change, or maybe you're in the accounting profession, but after you get this degree, or while you get this degree, you're looking at maybe shifting gears, consider the other types of organizations that really benefit from accounting expertise. The private industry, that's an obvious, right? But governmental agencies are really looking and recruit from us as well. And then there's the nonprofit sector. Of course, the public accounting sector is a huge employer for accounting professionals, but there are other opportunities. And all of these different groups of people, whether they work for nonprofit, government, or private, recruit from Golden Gate University. And the majority of our students do get hired at Big Four, and I say the majority is that those who are actually seeking jobs. Many of our students are already employed and are looking to use this degree as a way to either advance in their profession, gain extra skills and knowledge to make them more valuable to their employer. But if you are looking, there's definitely opportunities for the Big Four. But I also go back to the other section is make sure that you're thinking about a broader picture and not just kind of narrowing your options to a certain segment of accounting professionals. Foundation analytics. This is a really key thing because if you're keeping track of what is evolving in the accounting profession or the tax profession, analytics is playing a huge role. And so what you'll see in this new degree is that we've done a lot of work around improving our program and strengthening our program with more courses focusing on analytics and the application of analytics in the profession and how it's used in the databases that you might be working with. We also have, over the years of doing higher education, location is also very important. We've developed a huge network of professionals. Many of our graduates go out, work, and then come back and recruit from us. So there's a relationship that we've developed over years. But your professors coming from industry or those who are full-time have connections to the professional community. And they become not only your academic support and network, but they also become your professional network also. And then we have a lot of other services that we'll go into a little bit more detail as we move through this, that allow you to identify, how do I support? Life doesn't stop when you are doing a degree, and I am a testimonial to that. I have children, and I have all these other things, work and stuff. And those, my children didn't say, "Oh, we'll leave Daddy alone while he's studying and trying to write his, dissertation." No, they were like, "Daddy, I need this, I need this." So things are happening. You have family, you have work, you have other obligations, friends, and things like that. And sometimes it becomes overwhelming. So we want to make sure that you have the resources to help you get beyond those points, sticking points. Now, this slide is just a quick slide because we often get asked, where do your accounting students get work? Where are they employed? There's a lot of ways of finding this, and we don't track employment, to be very clear. We don't track where our students are employed because a couple of things happen, and I said this earlier. Many of the students who come in are already working. So they may not be looking to get employment, they're already employed. So when we survey graduates, once they've graduated, we send out surveys, we collect data about where are they employed. So this is a snapshot in time. This was the most recent one that was done not quite a year ago. And so you can see the larger the circles, the rounds, where most of our alumni are. So that, if you think back to the earlier slides, KPMG, Deloitte, PwC, the public accounting firms have many of our alumni. And then the smaller firms, but you also will see that there's a Golden Gate University that we employ some of our graduates. Wells Fargo, private. I don't believe there's nonprofit on here. Well, Kaiser Permanente, I guess, can be considered nonprofit. But you also have private sector. So you see the variety of different segments of businesses that our students go to work in. Okay, so again, I'm gonna go back to saying that this is a stackable degree. So what does that mean? So we're gonna look at the degree, but we're gonna look at it in chunks. The first chunk, which is not a certificate, but these are just proficiencies. You need to have intermediate algebra, and you need to have economics, micro or macro, when you come in. If you don't have it, whether you've taken them at a community college or through your undergraduate program, you can take them through either Golden Gate University, but study.com is another option that some of our students will take courses through that will actually transfer in to satisfy these proficiencies. Now, these are above the requirements for the degree. The degree itself is only 30 units, but these are the proficiencies and then the foundation courses that we want our students to have, because if you have these foundations under your belt, you will do much better because you'll have a clear understanding of how the major concepts in accounting function and work and work together. So the certificate and accounting foundations are also the accounting foundations in the degree. So you can just do the certificate. So students who do the certificate are those who might be looking to get additional accounting credits so that they can apply it towards sitting for the CPA. So if that's a goal of yours, is to apply to sit for the CPA here in the United States, whether it's California or somewhere else, you have to have so many units, 24 subject units in accounting. So these are 15 units that will apply to that. So you have your financial, accounting, managerial, intermediate 1, intermediate 2, and auditing. And these are traditionally in all undergraduate accounting programs, the foundation courses. Again, if you haven't satisfied them, you can take them at Golden Gate University. And it isn't just a certificate. So if later on you said, oh, I'm going to do the certificate and then come back and you want to do the degree, you will have satisfied those units in that, the foundation units for that master's degree. Okay, So now here's how the chunks work in the actual degree. Remember, it's 30 units. So the first 12 units are the core required courses. You can see it's probably small print, sorry. It's small print for me and I've got glasses on, but Accounting 300 is a research and communications class, which is going to be really important for you in understanding how do you research accounting concepts, rules that apply to certain situations you're trying to solve problems to, and then how do you make formal communications regarding that, whether that's in public accounting or private or any segment. Then you'll see there are 3 courses that really address, core courses that address the movement and the need for understanding analytics. The introductory to analytics is for tax and accounting students. And this course is an overview of how analytics is used within the profession. This class actually just rolled out, and I'm really excited because it's being taught by a CPA who graduated from our Golden Gate University and is now working towards his MSBA, which is his Master's of Science in Business Analytics at Golden Gate University. He's been doing analytics for, well, ever since he graduated. And he did it in Big Four. I think he was PwC, I think is where he worked. And then now he's doing it in the private sector. And that's all he does is help organizations with using analytics tools to help make decisions. And then analysis of financial information. This is where you're going to be working with another analytic tool that's still commonly used in all professions, and that's Excel. And Excel is a very robust tool, but at a certain point, it doesn't allow you to manipulate a certain amount of data. And that's where now more analytical tools, the programs that are designed to use big data, big sums of data, and manipulate it that's beyond the scope and ability of Excel. But this one really focuses on Excel and analyzing financial information like for 10Ks for different organizations, making some determinations, helping solve problems. You'll do case studies, and then using these tools to help you figure out how to help your client, your make-believe client, in the case study. And then the other one is actually rolling out for fall, and this is the automation and innovative technology. This is looking at how does artificial intelligence, robotics, machine learning, and other facets of analytics or actually technology are being used in the profession. And this is going to be rolling out in the for the first time in the fall. And the professor who's doing this also teaches one of our other classes on information technology. And he has worked for not only public accounting, but he's also been doing a lot of work around innovation and technologies in the accounting profession. And he's authored several books on the subject area. So we have a very big talent of faculty within our pool that we draw from, which is really great, and it benefits you. So you have 12 units, and remember it's 30. So now you have 18 units left. So 6 of those 18 units that are remaining are going to come from elective courses that you can choose, and they cycle and vary term over term in different accounting courses that you haven't already taken. So you might take a class on information systems. Maybe you'll take one on fraud examination. So there's a variety of different courses that we're going to be offering every term that you can select. Also, if you're looking for to sit and satisfy the educational requirements and future licensing for your CPA, the one course that we do offer regularly is Accounting 302. And that is a course that really addresses the minimum requirements for ethics in the educational piece for California. So they specifically require 3 units of courses that are specific to the professional responsibilities for accountants. And we've got that course, so that will take care of that. So I always recommend that that's one of the 3 classes you should take if your goal is to apply and sit for the CPA. If you're already a CPA or have been licensed, you don't need this class. There are other options to choose, including taking the MSBA course, which is the Master's of Science in Business Analytics. That this one is on visualization and how do you use data to present it in a way for your audience to better understand what you're trying to convey to them, your messaging. And that's really important because, you know, as you're getting into analytics, you're going to learn terminology and concepts that are kind of foreign to other people in the organization. They don't understand. So how do you communicate information to them that is digestible and understandable in a way? And so you're going to learn that. And that's essentially a part of this course, as well as building dashboards, right? Dashboards help us take data and manipulate it in a way that for us is easy to read and use, whether that's graphs, charts, or other types of visual aids. And then, so now we've done 12 plus 6 is 18. Now you have 12 units left. The 12 units can come from any courses that we're offering that you haven't already taken, or you can choose one of many concentrations that we're going to talk about. So the accounting, research, and analytics at the top of this slide is also a standalone certificate. So remember, these standalone certificates are stackable. So maybe you don't want to do the master's degree and you've done a lot of accounting foundation courses and you want to do these 4 courses. So this is a 12-unit certificate as well. So you can start there, right? And then later on, if you want to do your master's degree, you have already satisfied these 12 units. So again, you can do certificates to start your program, or you can actually just dive into the master's degree in itself. Okay, so what are the concentrations and the certificates? Because I've been talking about those certificates. So we talk about the CPA Applied Accounting Concentration Certificate. These are no in particular order. So this is a concentration and certificate you can choose. If you want to start with just the certificate, you can do that. These courses are graduate level courses, and it's a partnership that we have built and with Becker CPA Review, which means it's a CPA review while you're earning graduate level courses. The first course just launched on July 1st, and we'll be offering 2 more courses in the fall term, and they're offered in our 7.5-week terms. Our full term is 15 weeks, so we have 2 halves. They're each 7.5. Now, the CPA concentration is designed to help you prepare and pass the CPA exams. So these courses are very focused on the exams and that you will be taking. Now, Becker allows us to use their resources and their books, and the professor that's teaching it has been teaching for Golden Gate University on and off for many years and has taught, he has a CPA and he's got 25 plus years in governmental accounting and also that many years teaching for Becker. So he's well-versed. So this is a great way to build course credit towards sitting for the CPA, as well as preparing to sit for the CPA. And the idea is that once you complete a class, you can schedule the exam and hopefully, if it's in the time frame, and then take the exam and then move on to the next set of courses. There's a tax concentration for those who are interested in just learning enough tax, as I say, to be dangerous. It is also a great way to understand how both sides of the house, tax and the accounting side, work together. And so this is really important for you to understand. The advanced analytics, for those of you who want to build upon the analytics section of the program, you have advanced analytics courses, and this is a standalone certificate as well. They are designed for you from the MSBA program, by the way. So this comes from the business analytics program. And these courses are much more advanced than the ones that we're going to be talking about that are in your program. So they build upon what you're already learning and they take it to another level. So that's a great way if you're looking to do more analytics in the profession, that that's something that you should consider. But also, if you have a lot of experience and you're looking for how do you become a better leader, we have a leadership track, which is the concentration or a certificate. The essentials of leadership give you the essential competencies and help you develop those competencies in your leadership. Now, we also talked about the analytics and data, accounting data and analytics certificate, which are those 4 core courses. So we've already talked about those. And so that's a certificate by itself. And then the graduate accounting foundation, those 15 minutes is also a standalone certificate, and I mentioned that earlier. So you can start anywhere you want, essentially, and then later on add it to the degree if you decide to move forward with a degree. Or you can do a bunch of different certificates, whichever works for you. Okay, how do you take classes at Golden Gate University? Well, we are in a very unique situation right now, right? The pandemic has forced higher education, even my children at home during the school year, or half the rest of the past school year rather. And who knows what the future is going to look like. So again, as adult learners, we need a little flexibility. So how do you take classes? Well, they're pure online classes, which I call asynchronous, right? So each week you will have a set of modules or requirements to complete, and the professor decides what you need to complete every week. And then it's incumbent upon you to kind of work through and making sure that you address the deadlines each week. So no online attendance is required. Typically students will need to log in like 2 to 3 times a week, take care of their track with completing the assignments and completing any maybe discussion board forums that the professors has set up. The exams are proctored. So you might have 2 exams, but only one of them has to be proctored. So sometimes professors do take home. Sometimes professors don't do any proctored exams. They just do maybe a project, assignment, papers. There's a variety of different options they choose to assess the learning outcomes of the course. And then web conferencing. And I'm kind of sore, but I can pat myself on the back because I feel really proud that Golden Gate University has been doing web conferencing mostly for the last year, but even before that, we've been working on web conferencing for at least 3 to 4 years. We've had several classes being taught in this format. And then when the pandemic hit in early March, and we had to take all of our in-person classes and move them to web conferencing, the transition wasn't very bumpy. It was really very smooth, actually. Because most professors were already adept at teaching web conferencing, and students were already kind of used to attending web conferencing versus in-person sections. So these are the different ways you can take our classes. Of course, you can take classes in person once the campus opens, and we don't know what that's going to look like yet because there's so many things changing daily that our goal is to open the campus for staff later this year, like around October, but that could change depending on what the pandemic is doing. So here's a sample of what we call a course shell. Now this is a course shell for a specific class. This class is the Accounting 302 that's specific to that ethics requirement that I shared with you. And this is just 1 week snapshot of what your course shell looks like. If you're taking web conferencing classes or in-person classes, each of those courses also have a web shell, but they're going to be designed differently because the way you take those classes is different. So for asynchronous classes, this is how this is the kind of the version of what you'll see. And every course shell will look a little differently based on what the professor has set up week by week. So a module is considered 1 week, and the week usually starts on Sunday through Saturday. Sometimes they have them start from Saturday through Friday, but that you'll have to make sure you check on your syllabus. The professors post videos. Some professors even do web conferencing class sessions where they'll record the class session. You can join them. It's optional. It's not always mandatory. So you get to be a part of the live recording when they are recording their lecture. You get to ask questions, and then that recording is posted in the course shell. You'll find an area. This is just a snapshot, remember. There's a lot more that you don't see here. A section on course announcement, professors' office hours, and some of them will do office hours via Zoom, which is what we're doing today, right? So you get that one-on-one interface with the professor. You also have a side panel that has job links, tutoring information, office hours for the administrative offices, and access to the GGU library. So these are like quick links for you to get to where you need to go, depending on what you're looking for, without having to leave the course itself. Another question that we often get is, what if I'm interested in doing an internship? Can I do an internship, and how does that work? Well, yes, you can do an internship. Internships are elective course credit. And the internship program was designed to allow students to actually work hands-on in an accounting firm or anywhere where you're going to be doing graduate level accounting type work and earn course credit for it. It is a class. I'm the instructor. And so there are papers to write. You earn a grade, then you pay tuition, and you can earn up to 6 units of internship credit. Again, these are elective courses. If you choose a specific concentration, you may not be able to do all 6 units of internship credit. So that's something that we would work out with you and your advisor. And by the way, you will be assigned an advisor once you start our program. We do the position reviews. So if you find an employer that's willing to host you as an intern or to offer you a full-time job that you can use for internship credit, you should just submit the request and your advisor will walk you through how does that work and what information we would need to make sure that it qualifies for the School of Accounting. Now, we don't guarantee jobs. I said earlier, we do have a high placement rate. So, we don't track who gets jobs, so we can't really guarantee that there's going to be a job. Many of these internships, though, and I'm going to say based on the students who do go through the internship program, I would say about 98%, high 90s at least, excuse me, do convert to job offers. So that's a great way to start off your career path if that's what you're looking to do. So there's more to just classes. Golden Gate University, I think, does an outstanding job on providing opportunities for students to gain more information and knowledge about their profession. We do lunch and learn workshops, which will start late July. And these are noontime workshops. Most of them are taught by industry professionals. One of our tax professors actually designed this and schedules these out. The lunch and learn workshop schedule will be posted for students in their courses and in other areas. So you can see what your schedule will look like and what options you can choose to attend. They will be done remotely, of course. And so you can attend via Zoom. If you can't attend, there will also be available for you recorded sessions that you can go in through the online platform and find the recordings and watch them later on. It's a great way for you not only learn new information or information that helps you in your recruitment activity or technical areas, but it also develops networking possibilities. We also do a lot of other related panels and group events throughout the year. We had a lot scheduled for earlier this year, but those got sidelined. But we do work with a lot of organizations outside of GGU, for example, TEI, Tax Executive Institute, which is a group of tax professionals who gather, and so they come on campus. And many of these events that we host provide free admissions to our students. Cal CPA is another huge partnership for us. We do a lot of events with them. Many of our faculty actually do workshops, lead workshops with them. So our students get free admissions to those workshops. And when we have this information, we send it out via email and other ways to communicate it out so you know what's going on. And then we do a full fall career fair late August. And this is one of the many recruitment events that we do. This year, it's going to be remote. So yes, we've got a platform we're working on and it's going to be really fun. We did a small one remotely and it worked out really well. So employers are excited to do that because even though they physically can't come to campus and they're probably working from home as well, they are still recruiting, right? They're still hiring, they still need staff. And so this is a great way for them to meet their staffing needs. Other events that we do, GGU Presents. This is an ongoing program. They've been doing it for the summer. These are some of the more, well, not the more recent, but these are some of the presentations they have done in the past. You can find these GGU Presents, and this is open for students and prospective students such as yourself by going to our website and looking at the GGU Presents page where all of the information about upcoming topics are presented and then how to register for them. So this is just a snapshot. Again, these are led by industry professionals and many of these are also in partnership or led by our faculty who are industry experienced in the subject area that they're talking about. Office of Career Services is one of our huge supporters for tax and accounting students, and they help us with the career fair. They help us with a lot of networking events. They have a whole host of different resources that you can obtain. Once you become a student, you'll have access to the job posting website where all of our employers post jobs, as well as resources. Here's just a sample of the hundreds of different workshops or resource materials they have available for you. But also, as I mentioned, you'll have a graduate advisor who will help you plan out your courses from start to finish. You will have access to tutors. Tutors are free. All of these services are free, by the way. So advising is free, unlimited advising, and it's remote. So if you want to do Zoom or over the phone, and when we open up, you can do personal face-to-face meetings once we return to campus. Tutoring also in person once we return to campus, but all of it is done remotely now through Zoom. Office Career Planning can do career advice, not only about how to get a job, but what if you're in a position and you're looking to help navigate a situation with your supervisor or other colleagues. They're there to help you kind of explore different ways to solve your concerns. Or maybe you're looking to advance, and how do you ask your supervisor for a pay raise, or how do you advance to the next position? How do you make sure that you stand out as the most likely qualified candidate for that advancement? There's a lot of resources and services that they can help you with. A wellness, life is not stopping, as I said earlier. So sometimes you need some professional help in figuring out how to overcome some obstacles. Maybe you're being challenged. How do I navigate the children at home and study time? And I've tried these different things and they're not working. Somebody help me. So yeah, wellness resources is there. Clubs, there's a tax and accounting club, which is a great way for you to do networking, also meet other people within your profession, and just get involved. And getting involved is really key. What we hear from our employers is not only should you have an understanding of the technical aspects of the field, but what else do you do outside of just work, right? Because a lot of these organizations volunteer and have commitment requirements for their employees to volunteer in the community, whether that could be doing cleanup projects or other services. A lot of them are very active in the community that they serve. So having a way for you to demonstrate how you get involved and get back to your community is really important on your resume. Of course, there's financial aid, because the financial aid department will be your source of figuring out how do you pay for all of this great stuff that we're talking about today. And I know that Mike will go over some of that in our next few slides. And then the VITA program. You don't have to be a tax professional to provide tax assistance to the needy, to those who have low income or live in communities where tax assistance isn't available. So the voluntary income tax assistance is a partnership with Bay Area Resources and the IRS, and we've done VITA at our campus for now 3 years, but got cut short because of the pandemic. So. So I am going to now turn it over to Mike to talk about our admissions requirements and other things that are important for you if you're deciding to move forward in the application process. So I'm going to have Mike talk, and you'll hear a different voice that's better than mine.
Thank you, Rocco. And your voice is really good, actually. And hi, everybody. My name is Mike, and I represent the admissions department and also support Rocco in giving you a better picture of our admissions requirements so that you can weigh yourself to see if you're ready to apply. Now, one of the things that I strongly recommended is that we strongly recommend people with US equivalent GPA of 3.0 or above to apply. Now, although that is not a strict requirement, it actually helps you understand if you're having a GPA 3.0 or above, that places you on par with the rest of our candidates, not only within the accounting program, but also within the graduate program as a whole. And I know that from our past conversation with Rocco, and I know that you may be coming from a different country, you may be getting a bachelor's degree from non-US countries such as India and Iran. Now, if you are having a foreign credential, you don't have to, usually when we receive your transcripts, our in-house team of evaluators will be able to convert it into the US GPA and then would guide you into the next step. For the accounting program, we do not require you to submit your GRE or GMAT score. On the other hand, if you have a statement of purpose and if you have a copy of resume, that would be perfect. I know Rocco would love to get to know more about yourself from seeing your resume and your statement of purpose. And again, your statement of purpose tells a lot about yourself besides the grades and helps Rocco and the committee better understand you as an applicant and as a person, and also your passion in entering with the program. So resume and statement of purpose, if you're having a GPA 3.0 or above, it is optional, but from my end, from Rocco's end, I know that we strongly recommend if you do, that would be perfect. For some of you who may have foreign credentials from a non-US country, and especially if English is not your native language, you might also need to fulfill a proficiency requirement or a language requirement. Now, if you are not sure if you need to fulfill certain proficiency or English language requirements, I have a very short advice for you, because the first step for you is to submit an online application to the accounting program. And after you submit your application, our admissions team will be able to take a full look on the application material that either you uploaded or you fill in, and we will be able to send you a checklist via email so that you can have a much better understanding of the required supplementary documents you need to upload in order to push your application for review, okay? So again, I don't expect every one of you to remember every detail I'm going to mention. The first step is to submit an online application, and then that's the GGU style. You'll be guided step by step. Once you finish this step, you receive instruction on the next step so that you won't miss every part of the work. And for the next one, I know some of you, after you are admitted to the program, because now you have the supplementary material, you are ready to have your application reviewed by the committee and Rocco, of course. And congratulations, if you are admitted to the program, you will actually enter the next phase of the admissions process. You will be instructed to either register for English or math placement exam, or we will be telling you if you need to take certain placement exam. That is part of the proficiency requirements in addition to the program unit. Now, for some of you, I know that if you are a veteran or if you are domestic students, you also have a specific concern of financial aid and using your VA benefits or GI Bills. Now, that is a good part we talk about, and after you are admitted to the program, you will actually receive instruction and email from us, either from the financial aid department or from your enrollment counselor, to remind you to fill in your financial aid application, or to keep in touch with your VA coordinator so that you can jumpstart on your GI benefit process and you can jumpstart on your financial aid process. For international students who may not be able to be eligible for FAFSA or the VA benefits, we do offer a very generous international scholarship program. So after you are admitted to the program, your application might be forwarded to the financial aid department, and we will do an assessment and eligibility review to see if you qualify for any one of the international scholarships. And again, what we call international students are those who need F1 visa to start school with, so that you can see if you fall into that category. So other than that, in addition to the VA benefits, the financial aid, and international scholarships, we also offer a very wide variety of in-house scholarships. So once you step into the program, feel free to check back into our scholarship and financial aid website often, because sometimes you may be able to apply for a specific individual scholarship program. and then get the money and then get the scholarship to help provide with your education. And for some of you who are working professionals as well, I know you have a specific concern about our tuition and fees. Now, one thing I want you to keep in mind is that if you are a working professional in the San Francisco Bay Area, and if you're employed already, check back with your HR department, because nowadays, as we know from our past experience, many companies in the Bay Area, especially IT companies, they offer a very generous employee education reimbursement program. So before you pay the tuition and fees, I would highly recommend you check back with your HR to see if your company offers education reimbursement package for you, so that it helps you to maximize your benefits. And on the other hand, lower your cost of education at GGU. Now, our tuition, regular tuition for the graduate program is $1,090 per unit. For full-time enrollment requirement, you are required to take 9 units of classes, or what we call free classes. So typically, our typical students, if you are a full-time student taking free classes of 9 units, think about that as around $10,000 per term. And again, Rocco already mentioned to you, we are following a trimester system. We are following 3 semesters in a year. We have a spring semester that is going from January to late April. We have a summer semester that is going from early May to late August. And we also have a fall semester, which is coming up in about 2 months, from early September to late December. And for international students, I know some of you may be wanting to visit your families, outside of the United States. Usually the best time to visit your families is late December to early January, because between our fall semester to the spring semester, you would have around 2 to 3 weeks of break, so that you can travel out of the country. And of course, I know the COVID-19 may affect all of us, but just in case, if the situation is improved and you are so missing your family, usually between late December and early January, that is between the fall semester and spring semester, that is the best time to travel and visit your family. So when you are registering for your classes, our staff will be also sending you a billing, and then you'll be able to understand how much you are going to pay. And again, you are paying for the tuition on a term-to-term basis.
So Mike, I'm going to just step in, and I want to make a couple of things.
Sure.
About one thing about tuition, and then one thing about international students. So tuition. For the CPA applied accounting classes, there are 4 in that group. And we have discounted those courses for this term, summer term, through next summer. So if you take those courses, they're discounted at 50% off. So instead of being $10.90 per unit, and there are 3 unit classes, those specific 4 classes, those 4 classes only, you'll be charged $545 per unit. There is a one-time materials fee for gaining access to all the books and the database that Becker provides us access to. And that is $1,400, but it's one time, and that it gives you access to everything that you need for those 4 courses. The other thing that I want to mention is on the international student issue. I know that we have at least 1 international student on the call, and there's been a lot of things happening, and if you've been keeping up in the news about the different changes and requirements for students attending universities coming for the fall term. We're quite aware of what's happening, and I'm sure, and I know, I'm not sure, but I do know that we're working on figuring out how to satisfy our current international students and potentially any international students that start for the fall term, how we can satisfy the requirements that are currently in place with the international visa holders. So just FYI on those 2 topics.
Thank you, Rocco. And so again, the first step for every one of us, if you are interested to apply, is to submit an online application. It helps to initialize the entire admissions process, and as well as giving us, the admissions team, a better picture of evaluating and giving you and seeing a fit between yourself and the accounting program. And as of today, we are both processing the fall semester for 2020 semester and the spring 2021 semester. So for those of you, for those of you who are ready to apply, I highly recommend that you submit an application for the fall semester. If you have a specific concern about either the COVID-19, or if you are international student who may have specific concern about visa, I would leave my email in the chat box afterward, so that we can keep in touch with each other, so that we can both determine whether the fall semester or the spring semester would be a better match for you. And again, we are currently accepting applications for both the fall 2020 semester and the spring 2021 semester. I'll be leaving my email in the chat box. If you have any specific questions about the admissions requirement, or which semester to apply and visa issues, feel free to chat back to me or Rocco, and we'll be so glad to help you throughout your education journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. So here's contact information for the university. Email, of course, is the best way to contact us, or you can contact me directly. Here's my email. Again, we said that we were recording this, and we will share this recording with everybody. So if you didn't, you missed something, and this contact information or whatever, it'll be there for you. So don't worry if you had to write something down. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing, and I know that we have about 8 minutes. I'm happy to stay on a little bit longer if needed, but I wanted to open up to questions, and feel free to unmute your microphone and or chat in the chat box, whichever works best for you to ask your questions. And it looks like some people were asking questions as I was presenting. So I'm going to start off with that. So while you think about your question, feel free to ask. And I'm going to read them out loud, and then I'm going to respond because you might have a similar question. Okay, is GGU for-profit or nonprofit? We are a nonprofit institution, so we are not for-profit. How can I access the recorded session of this meeting? This meeting will be sent to you, and you will be able to view it. I think perhaps Mike, I'm going to put Mike on the spot, might be sending it out to you. You will also get a waiver code. I don't know if I mentioned that, or Mike mentioned that. I might have missed it. A waiver code, because it's a $65 application fee, but we'll waive it for attending this session. You will get the waiver code in along with the recording at that point. So if you've already applied though and paid the fee, the waiver code won't work. But if you haven't applied and you're looking to apply, just wait until you get the waiver fee, and then you can start, and you'll have the code that you can waive the $65 application fee. Can you elaborate more on?
Go ahead. We'll be sending you a follow-up email after this webinar, and the follow-up email, like Rocco said, will contain two things, two important things. One is the fee waiver code, so that when you are filing for your application, when you are asked for the payment, you enter the fee waiver code, and it will directly waive your application fee of $65. The other thing, we will record this webinar, and we'll be sending you the link to the recording so that you can check back to see if you missed any details. And again, Rocco and I are here to help you and support you throughout your education journey at GGU.
Thank you. So another question, can you elaborate more on campus placement? So the writing placement assessment is done remotely. It's not done physically on campus. I think that's what you're asking about. So any placement exams or assessments you need to take can be done remotely. Then I heard GGU has tried to make this STEM-based. So the Masters of Science in Accounting, Data, and Analytics with the data analytics concentration, the business analytics concentration, will be a STEM program. We're waiting for a final approval. So that will be, it's not officially a STEM program, but because of the analytics, the amount of analytics courses, it should be, but we have to get final approval from CVIS, actually, for international students and for for that to be for that to be accurate. And I don't know when the approval, things are not moving as fast as we would like to. And so I really don't know how soon it will be coming through. I know that our representative has been checking in and still is trying to get an accurate time, but in this pandemic, things are not moving as fast as we would like. Can you confirm the application requirements for people without undergraduate degree? So the application requirements for anybody is the same. So when you, whether you have an undergraduate degree or not, when you provide us with all of your transcripts, and that's key, because sometimes students take courses at community college which will satisfy the economics requirements, for example, or will satisfy some of those accounting courses you might have taken there, those accounting foundation courses. Send in all of them because it can never hurt. And your advisor who works with you will help you get all of that arranged and how to request from your universities and so forth. So the process for applying is the same. What is different is how many of the foundation courses are you bringing in, or how many of the proficiency units are you bringing in from outside institutions. So that's the only thing that's different. And that is assessed when we do your file review. Is it just the econ classes and non-degree classes that must be taken before applying? So you don't always have to take them before applying. You will, once we do a review, we will determine what you have and what you need to do. And then your advisor will work with you on satisfying those requirements. There are some courses that you can take in the graduate program that don't require a prerequisite. So you can still be doing, let's say, your econ class along with one of the other graduate courses because it doesn't require, those analytic courses don't require a huge experience and understanding in accounting because what you're going to be learning in the course is about how to use these programs and how to extract data, how to manipulate data, to use programs to do all of that. So how long will the master's degree take? Really, that's dependent upon you, how many units you take each term. International students have to take full time, and for us, that's 9 units because each of our classes are 3 units. But if you don't have any requirements around that, like VA students have that same requirement. But if you're not either one of those groups, you can take as many classes you want. We don't recommend taking more than 3 classes, especially if you're working. Actually, if you're working and you're juggling family, maybe one class at a time is best to start off with. So again, it really depends on how many classes you take at any given time. There was a few other questions. These are all great questions. Thank you for asking them. So what are the total fees of the MSADA degree? It really, well, for the core classes and the 18 units in the degree, all of those are factored in at $1,090. There are other fees associated with them, like technology fees. And you can go to our website to look at what all those fees are and how often they're assessed. So it's hard for me to give you an actual total, but your advisor can work with you on understanding what that looks like for your financial needs. And you can also work with financial aid who can give you even a better idea about how you can go about paying for them and what the actual out-of-pocket costs might be. What community colleges offer foundation courses? So any US community college will likely offer those accounting courses or economics, math. So it really, I guess whatever you choose. If you have a concern about whether a class will meet our requirements, you should work with your advisor or with me to see if this is a course that you could take to satisfy one of the accounting classes or the math class or something like that. I'm going to have Mike answer this question. My IELTS score is 6.0. I'm having 10.5 years of experience in the area of accounting, audits, and finance, SAP consultant.
Thank you, Rocco. Amruta, our minimum IELTS is 6.5. And again, for the IELTS, make sure that you are taking the academic instead of the general. And again, our minimum IELTS is 6.5. Now, while we are accepting IELTS score, because of the current pandemic situation, we are accepting alternatives to IELTS, and one of the best alternatives is to take Duolingo English test. And I'm going to put in the chat box so that you can start to take a look and do some research on if Duolingo English test is a better alternative for you if you have difficulty scheduling for an IELTS exam. Let me put that in the chat box for you so that you can start doing some research.
Hi, Mike. I have given academic IELTS only, and I have scored 6.0.
Okay, thank you. So thank you for confirming. Because of the English language requirement, our minimum required for IELTS is 6.5. Have you heard of Duolingo English test before?
Yeah, I have. I have heard.
Yeah, so the Duolingo English test can be taken at home, and it usually takes less than an hour, usually around 50 to 1 hour. And I will put into the chat box with the minimum score for Duolingo, so you can start to see if that was an alternative for you.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to continue on with these questions. Let's see here. I forgot where I left off. Okay, sorry, I just moved my window. You can take elective courses without first satisfying your foundation classes. Yes, you can, as long as you have satisfied the prerequisites for those courses. So for example, I was saying earlier, some of the major courses, the required courses, don't have prerequisites, so you can jump into those. One of them, Accounting 300, has, I think it's Accounting 200B as a minimum requirement. So unless you've satisfied that course, whether you brought that in from an outside US institution or you've taken the course at Golden Gate University, you wouldn't be able to take that class. That's an example. Same with all the electives. So you can take classes as long as you've met the prerequisites, or if there are any. Can you confirm the application requirement for people with undergraduate degrees in accounting? Wait, I think I just read that. Sorry, I read that already. I don't have a background in accounting. I was told that I can take 15-unit prerequisite courses and catch up. So the foundation courses are those 15 units. And yes, you can take them at Golden Gate University. And based on all of that, we can also interweave, if you will, some of the graduate courses as you move through the program. So your advisor will work with you to help you figure out which courses you need to take each term so that you're also satisfying the foundation courses and still working on some of your graduate courses. Not all of those foundation courses are offered each term. They rotate. So depending on term after term, you might have to, you can take maybe one foundation course and then maybe take a graduate level course or some combination of that. Is there a waiver for IELTS score for the difference? You can submit a petition to have that considered. It's not automatically waived. It would have to be reviewed by the school and a determination would have to be made based on what you provide. Is there a term that students can normally start in, or can you start during any of the term? You can start during any term. Fall term is always in the in the world of higher education is a major starting point for all programs and students, but that doesn't mean you have to start in the fall. You can start in the spring, you can start in the summer. So that's another flexibility around adult learners because you don't have to take classes each term, by the way. You can take a class, let's say you start in the fall and you take one class. Then your work is really busy during the spring term, and our spring term starts in January and ends in April. And like, hey, I've got so many things going on. Kids are at home from school. I just really can't take a class. You don't have to take a class. Then summer opens up and you're like, hey, I can take a class. So you take a class then. So that again also determines how long it's going to take you to work through the program. The only thing is you don't want to be gone more than 3 consecutive terms without taking a class, because then you become inactive and withdrawn from the university. But your advisor will be working with you and communicating with you if you're going to be up against that issue. Okay, I think I worked through all of the questions, I hope. And if hopefully I answered all of them that are out there, but please, add in more questions or unmute your microphone and ask, or if I wasn't clear, or if Mike wasn't clear on some of those answers, please let us know, and we're happy to further clarify any of the questions that were asked.
Hi, Amrita. This is Mike again, and I know that you have, I checked on the system, seems like you have submitted an application for the accounting program already for the spring 2021.
That's right.
I will forward the note to Flora, who is your enrollment counselor, to continue follow up you with your inquiries. And unfortunately, we do have a pretty strict requirement on the English language requirement with the 6.5 IELTS. But I'll just be very honest with you. I have my past applicants who have a 6.0 with IELTS, and then use Duolingo as an alternative, can easily meet the minimum with 100. So check to see if you are able to take the Duolingo exam first to meet the requirement. That puts you on par with the rest of our applicants. And also you are able to take the exam at home. So it's a win-win for both parties.
Yeah, okay. I was just checking whether I can get the waiver for IELTS or not.
Well, I said, everything is, can be considered. I can't guarantee it's going to happen. You can submit a request. I've seen students who have submitted requests before, and it might be approved. I don't know. We take all the factors into consideration. I think, though, because it's easier for you to do the Duolingo because of the accessibility that it's now giving you, I would just do the Duolingo and just avoid having to complete a waiver form, which also means you also have to, give us evidence that we should do it. What's the evidence? So to me, the hour spent would be better spent doing the Duolingo.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. If you have to go, great. Just sign off. We're glad that you took the time that you did, and we're well over the hour by about almost 10 minutes, 8 minutes now. So thank you for hanging out with us. If you have everything that you need as far as information to take the next steps, please go ahead and sign off. If you have any other questions, let's ask them now. I do have to run to a new, but I can wait for like a minute or two if you have another question. Okay, well, it looks like everybody's starting to sign off.